Miscarriage Moms for Life presents this mourning moment. Actually, today's broadcast will be a little bit longer than normal. I figured the best way to handle this topic is to demonstrate it. Today's post is the power of sharing your personal testimony. Recently, I was honored to be interviewed by Rabbi Shlomo Nachman along with Cecily Routman in their show, and here are a few clips from that show.
About my son, Isaac. He and I were close to each other. We freely shared what we were thinking and feeling. A couple of times I went shopping for some stress relievers. I picked up some word search books, my personal favorite, but Isaac drew my attention to the coloring books for boys, filled with trucks and race cars and such as that. I distinctly remember one time starting to get out one of my word search books until I heard Isaac say, "I'd rather color." Then color. Speaking of color, Isaac would sometimes let me see what he was seeing. I'm at a loss for words, but it was like a kaleidoscope of colors coming towards him. He was smart, too. Isaac told me I needed to take a box cutter and cut the duct tape in half lengthwise while it was still on the roll. But I listened to my husband instead, who said I needed to unroll the duct tape and then cut it in half and roll it back up. What a mess that was. But Isaac was also moody. After he noticed I did not follow his admittedly superior advice, he stopped talking to me. After a day or so of his silent treatment, I gave him a sincere, heartfelt apology for not listening to him, and he slowly began warming back up to me. Near the end of his life, I asked him to hold on a little longer until I could get him help. His voice was faint and weak, but he managed to say, "I'll try." We were so close, I felt the exact pain in my heart that he endured in his heart when he died. Those are just a few of the sample interactions I had with my son. Listening to them, I would think that most people would guess that I was interacting with maybe a elementary school boy, but I wasn't.
I was less than 8 weeks post-conception pregnant with my son Isaac when he died.
How was it that you initially got the sensation that you could actually commune and that you knew his name was Isaac? How did that happen?
Short answer is I really don't know. But I was trying to uh, pay attention to myself, what was going on with me, and that opened the door for me being able to pay attention to what was going on inside of me, which was my son growing. His name, Isaac, I named him that because this whole concept, everything about the pregnancy, everything about me being able to interact with him was just so laughable to me. It just seemed like a fitting name. So I'm older, a little bit older, so I just kind of made several connections there that just Isaac just seemed to fit.
Okay.
And I don't think he liked the name Isaac.
Oh.
I think he has another name, but I just don't talk about it.
Okay. My ex-wife took the life of my child as well, and I knew what his name was. I don't know, but how I knew, but I knew his name was Garrett Jonathan. I knew that was his name, and I knew that he was a he. So I can totally relate with what you say here. I've never seen anybody publish this and talk about this before, and that's why when I first saw that and you were visiting us and I heard that, I'm thinking I wasn't crazy. There is somebody else that's experienced this, and Carol's another one. She has her hand raised. Carol.
I was going to say with one of mine, I was probably a week to 10 days post-conception, and I knew it was a boy, and I was thinking about naming him Howard. And he immediately told me his name was Bill.
My sister was 15 when she had an abortion. It was at a time where you had to go to New York City to have them, and she and my mother flew up there and came back. I can remember my grandmother saying, "I can feel that baby in my arms. I can feel holding him." It was always a him. a male. In later years, I've been connected, I think, because I have grieved for this child. I knew his name was Michael.
Simply sharing my story gave 3 others the courage to speak up and speak out about their stories and their testimonies about the lives of the children inside the womb. So let me encourage you to speak up for the life of your babies. This is Tiffany Matthews with your Mourning Moment. Until next time, may the God of peace comfort your heart, soul, and spirit. God bless.